Greetings, primitives. It's Dragonkeeper 96600 here. Okay, this episode was kind of overwhelming, and I actually haven't watched it again like I did with my Lemon Hope review. I mean, I watched Lemon Hope twice for my Lemon Hope review. I didn't watch Escape from the Citadel. But anyway, so, yes. So I haven't watched the episode again, but, so there's no but. But I might not, be as clear on things, or there might be things I forget or remember wrong, so just bear with me here, because I just want to kind of get this over with before I get too sleepy, because it's almost midnight, and my sleep schedule is now messed up, so I start getting sleepy around midnight instead of like 5 hours later. I mean, what's up with that? But anyway, this episode was kind of emotionally taxing in more ways than one, so to cheer you up, I have something adorable right here to show you, and maybe make you a little happier. Yes, maybe some of you remember my dog, Cookie. This is Cookie. She's a Chihuahua. She's very confused because I got her out of bed for this video. And she is cute and has no idea what Adventure Time is, or what the Citadel is, or why you are all emotional wrecks right now. She's just happy to be here. Isn't she? Aren't you, Cookie? Cookie, say hi to the people. Look. Look. Say hi to them. Okay, well, yes, here she is. She's cuter than your dog. And your cat, also. Yay. Okay, so enough of that. I think, okay, there are a few things I wanted to say about this episode. Let's just start off with the big thing that they were hyping on Facebook and on Cartoon Network and on every Adventure Time blog I followed on Tumblr. Tumblr's where I get most of my sources. And that would be Finn's father, who now has the name Martin. He has been named, which is weird because Finn's name in the farm world was like, wasn't it Mertens? So it's Martin Mertens. That's stupid. But whatever. So there were a lot of possibilities for this guy. First of all, we knew that he was a cosmic criminal. Kind of. I mean, he's in the Citadel, and like, here's the thing though. In the release storyboards for, I think it was The Lich, Billy was actually, the original plan for the end of season 4 was that Billy was actually going to tell Finn about his father, like, before they actually left to go to the time room. And he was going to tell him that his father was wrongfully imprisoned in the Citadel and now spends his time, like, kicking the asses of all the criminals in there. Obviously, some concepts of what the Citadel is changed, but more than that, we don't actually know why Finn's father was in the Citadel. What we do know about Finn's father is that he is a massive dickweed. Okay, like, actually obscenely dickish. The thing is, I don't know, there are a lot of expectations, like I said, that he was going to be a good guy, that he was going to be a bad guy, that it'd be a tearful reunion, that it would be disappointing, that there would be a wall between them. I don't think what we expected, though, was for Finn's dad to just not care, which was the biggest thing I saw. Like, when he found out Finn was his son, he didn't, like, he didn't think it was a big deal, or he didn't seem to understand why anybody else would think it's a big deal. It's like, oh, you're my son? Good for you. Hey, could you come over here? Do you have a car? No? I'll see you later then. Could you bring me a thing? Never mind. Hey. Like, he wasn't totally, like, apathetic to him. He was pretty apathetic, but he was also kind of, like, kind of amiable, like, friendly in a kind of distant way, which I don't think was what Finn wanted, and certainly not what we, the viewers, wanted. It's like, hey, son, could you give me a thing while you're here, I think it's really disappointing for all of us that he doesn't know why Finn was left on the mountain when he was a baby. It's like, why'd you abandon me, Dad? I don't know. Stuff happens. I don't know. It's me. He actually said, me. It's like, no, I don't, because you abandoned me in the woods when I was a baby. Wait, you're not focusing on the right thing here. Yeah, so, kind of a tool. But, I guess we kind of maybe were in denial about the fact that he wasn't gonna be a nice guy, because he was in the Citadel. He's a criminal. A cosmic criminal. You saw what the other people were doing, slicing up planets, genocide, big dramatic stuff. And we have no idea what Finn's dad did. And some people are like, maybe that wasn't his dad, but I'm pretty sure it was because he kind of looks like Farm World Finn's dad. Minus the nose and the weird eyes, of course. And as far as I saw, he was the only human there. So, like Billy said, your dad was in the Citadel. Obviously, Finn's father has to be the human guy. Unless Finn's not human, which I'm pretty sure isn't right. Obviously, he's human. The title of the show is Adventure Time with Finn and Jake. Finn the human, Jake the dog. So if Finn actually, it turned out he wasn't human, that would be really misleading on the opening theme song. But yeah, we don't know what his crime was, so that's kind of a dangling thread. He went off somewhere with all those criminals. That'll probably come back again. Strike that. That will almost definitely come back again. But for now, it's a mystery. Like, I don't think being a complete tool is a cosmic crime. But one thing I did notice is this did actually draw another parallel to Shoko from The Vault. Remember her? Because she's Finn, so you have to remember her. Finn's past life, Shoko, her parents were also kind of... Oh, Cookie, don't cry. Her parents were also massive dickwads. Like, they abandoned her in a dojo and they cut off her arm. Which actually, Finn's dad kind of cut off his arm, now that you think about it. Like, you saw his son holding on and his instruction was, go faster. Like, just leave him. Just get rid of him. So, yeah. Just like Shoko, Finn lost his arm due to his at least one parent. So, which leads me to wonder, is Finn's mother like that too? I really hope not, because it seemed like both of Shoko's parents were awful. And Finn's father is awful. He's awful in a kind of baffling way. Like, he wasn't outright, like, cruel. Like, Finn's dad, I mentioned this in my reaction vid, but he's not the worst parent we've seen on the show. Okay? He's really not. I know that's incredible, but he really isn't. He was just, he was like really, really insultingly casual, I think, is what it was. Like, he knew Finn was his son, he acknowledged him as his son. I guess Finn got maybe too touchy-feely. He was perfectly willing to leave with Finn and Jake when he thought they had a car. And, but once he found out Finn was going to be weird and clingy, and, like, he didn't want him to call him Dad. He wanted him to call him Martin, but he was calling him son. So it's like this weird one-way thing with him. I don't know. That guy's kind of... Like, he doesn't make sense, okay? Martin doesn't make sense psychologically, and I kind of want to hear more about him, even though he's such a jackass. Speaking of Shoko, which I brought up earlier, Finn loses his arm in this episode, which we kind of knew was going to happen. I mean, yeah, which is odd because they released some promo video for Food Chain, which is an episode coming up later, and did Finn have his arm in that episode? I don't remember. But that episode's non-canon anyway. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. You'll know later. So, yes, the way he lost it, I think, was particularly traumatic. I was wondering about how they do it, because, like, someone cutting off the arm with the blood spraying out, because there's always massive blood sprays in cartoons. I don't know if this is true to life. I've never seen someone lose a limb. But, like, there's also always the massive blood spurt. It's, like, really traumatic, and the arm is just lying there. But they kind of got around that with having the grass sword kind of envelop his arm, and then when it's pulled off, it's already a healed stub. Which I think was part of the reason the Guardian blood didn't bring his arm back, because there's nothing to heal. It was already totally healed, which is weird. It's even weirder that a little flower grew at the end. What it reminded me of, though, was like way back in season 3, I think it was, with the episode My Way. This is something I only know about because I got the season 3 DVDs for my birthday, and I watched all the season 3 episodes recently. But there was that stump, right, that was pointing out the 2 different directions, and it had like a signpost on it. Finn, in his rage, I guess, in the episode, knocks off the signpost and then runs off, and there's just a hole in the stump where it used to be. When Finn comes back with the Cyclops tears, which, like the Guardian's blood can cure anything, he pours it on the stump, and all that happens is a flower sprouts out of the hole in the stump's head. I have no idea if that's connected. It just seemed a weird parallel for me to make. for me to notice, for the show to do. Weird parallel, which makes it seem like Adventure Time is sort of like Star Wars in a way, because a lot of the events of Star Wars kind of repeat. Like, the same things that happened in the original trilogy happen to some extent preview. Like, people saying, I have a bad feeling about this, wading through garbage, losing your arm, you know, certain motifs crop up again and again. Maybe because of lazy writing in George Lucas's case, but in Adventure Time's case, I don't know. I guess they like to go back to previous ideas and expand on them. If that thing in my way was foreshadowing, though, I have no idea what it could possibly be foreshadowing. Will that arm grow back into a new grass arm? Will it keep spreading? I don't know. There has to be a reason for that flower, okay? There isn't just a flower for, like, no reason. Which is weird, because when Adventure Time first aired, that's exactly what we thought. Like, shit just happens for no reason. Like, why those fish have party hats? It's Adventure Time, derpy derp. But, yeah, that's not the case anymore. Every little thing makes us go, what is that? There has to be a reason for that. There has to be. So, yes. Now, let's talk about the other heavy thing. Let's talk about Prismo. Oh my gosh. We were all so looking forward to seeing Prismo in this episode. We're like, yes, yes, Prismo! And then he's gone now. I know, Cookie. We're all sad. We're all sad about Prismo. Look at how sad she is. Okay, she doesn't look sad so much as just sleepy. But that's okay. Cookie will make it okay. So, I pointed this out on my Tumblr, but Prismo sacrifices himself. First, Prismo dies twice, okay? First, when he wakes up, his mind and memories from the past, God knows how long since the last time he was awake, are all gone. He doesn't recognize Finn or Jake, which I thought was the saddest thing. There's, like, this recurring theme in Adventure Time about losing your mind or losing your memories, like with the Ice King. So to see it happen to Prismo, who's like a really cheerful, hey, Jake, come on over, I'll give you some pickles, let's hang, you know? Seeing it happen to him, and him knowing that it was going to happen to him, and being perfectly willing to do that for his friends, was just kind of, it was heavy. It was very heavy. But then when he's murdered by the Lich, he just seems really confused. It's like, can I just go home? It's like, nope, no you can't. Not ever again. And Jake goes hysterical with grief. It was just a really traumatic moment, and you didn't even have time to grieve for Prismo because the episodes, both of them, move really fast. I mentioned before in my Lemon Hope review that the episode needed two parts so it could take its time and build up a slow pace. Wake Up and Escape from the Citadel needed to be a two-parter for the exact opposite reason, because there was so much stuff to cram in. Like, all of the events that need to happen could not have happened in a one-part episode. It needed to be two. And the result of that was that things just seemed to be happening like this, which is appropriate here because, you know, there's kind of a rush. Like, as soon as I think from the moment where Prismo wakes up, because the Lich woke him up, to when Finn's father leaves and Finn loses his arm, it all moves at a very breakneck pace, because so much stuff is happening, and, like, they get to the Citadel, and the thing is spreading, and they have to hurry and get to his dad, and now they have to leave really quick before it spreads, and there's the Lich, and there's this thing, and he's trying to leave, and he's holding on. It's like, it's just a big rush, but it was time is of the essence, so the pacing matched the mood of the episode. Unlike with Betty, where the pacing was sort of appropriate, but also kind of distracting. Like, this should be a big moment, and it should have been allowed to take its time. And while the fast pace didn't kind of make sense, it didn't really match the tone as well as it did here. Yes. So, yeah, breakneck speed. So this episode had some sad moments, it wasn't just, like, normal sad. Like, when someone dies, that's normal sad. But, like, or if you, like, lose a friend, or, like, there are, like, standard sad tearjerker moments in cartoons. Adventure Time didn't go for any of that. The dad isn't overly cruel, which would be a standard sad moment. He's just more of a, hey, bye. You know, kind of a, for lack of a better word, deadbeat dad. Like, that's all there is to him. And that kind of disappointment and, like, the build-up, no doubt, Finn felt, as well as we did, like, Finn was, like, lying in his bed awake at night for God knows how long, maybe hours, just, like, wondering about who his dad was. And his dad just didn't think it was a big deal and made it feel like maybe he was putting too much thought into it, which is, like, a really disappointing and difficult to portray emotion that most kids shows don't go into. Hell, most adult shows don't go into. Like, the feeling of just expectations that aren't even really dashed, more like expectations that just don't go anywhere. They aren't crushed and they aren't filled. They just die. Which was very traumatic for Finn. It was traumatic for Shelby, too. Poor Shelby. This episode had some pretty awesome moments. I mentioned this in the reaction vid. The animation for the Citadel is incredible. Like, those Guardians, they really feel big, and they feel like they have gravity. And the way this happens is... I think Cookie wants to get down. Say goodbye, Cookie. Okay. The way it happens is kind of intriguing. Like, as soon as you commit a cosmic crime, like, the crystal forms around you immediately, and they come and get you and stick you on the thing. Yeah, so there's awesome momentous things. It was cool seeing the grass sword kind of mutate into this huge arm where Finn's trying to hold on to his dad, which was a really heartbreaking scene also. You know, that's another non-standard sad moment. Dad's leaving, I'm trying to keep him here, but he really, really wants to leave without saying goodbye. It's like he's trying to ditch him as fast as he can, which is rough. Yeah, especially for someone like Finn, who clearly has abandonment issues. Like, it doesn't come up that often, but, like, way back in season 1, the Jiggler, when he's like, Mamas are supposed to love babies! You know, he hides it deep inside, buries it away. That's how Finn deals with stress in the vault. But you can tell it really weighs heavily on him. So we got sad moments, we got awesome moments, we got scary as fuck moments. The Lich without his robe is horrifying. And I'm not sure if he's still hanging out. Is that Billy's skeleton he's hanging out of? Or is that like his skeleton and Billy's been completely stripped away? I don't know which it is. I'm not sure which is worse. I don't want to think about it that much. Finn's big speech, the Lich's big speech to Finn about how this is the end, I'm coming for you, all that stuff was appropriately creepy and had the real gravitas. Which is the Lich's big thing, is gravitas. They wrote on the note for the production episode way back in season 2, the Lich is not funny. So, like, jokes are made about the Lich, like people taking selfies with him, which is freaking ingenious, by the way. I love that they were doing that, and I love that the word selfie was said on Adventure Time. And that just seems like something people would do, like the kind of dumb thing. Here's a cosmic horror from beyond time and space. Let me get my picture with it. You know, especially in this day and age of people who are obsessed with self-image and projecting their self-image over the internet, that has now given them a forum to do so. I don't think it's that people are more obsessed with themselves or more obsessed with spreading their essence. I think it's more that the internet has just provided a medium for which to do it, because people have always been obsessed with themselves since the dawn of time. It's just a fact of the species. It's not a bad thing. It's just, you know, one of those things. So, yeah, I got kind of deep from jokes about selfies with the Lich. By the way, I don't want to do it because I'm busy with other stuff, but somebody draw a picture of Peppermint Butler selfie with the Lich. That's fantastic. So anyway, yeah, jokes are made around the Lich and about the Lich, but the Lich himself doesn't make jokes. He's not funny. He doesn't have any quirks or things to his personality. He's just a blank slate that's a stamp that says Ultimate Doom here, which is odd when he turns into a baby at the end of the episode. Yeah, about the Lich being a baby, I really don't know where they're going with that, if anywhere. Apparently, Tree Trunks and Mr. Pig are going to raise the Lich now, which is beyond strange. But you know what? If anyone can do it, Tree Trunks can do it. Tree Trunks has a soul of iron, all right? Anyone can raise the Lich right. Like, really tough love come down on him. Tree Trunks can. Because I remember in Mystery Dungeon, when Lemongrab was, like, yelling at her, make them fast, Serval! You know, for the pies. And she She didn't back down. She looked him right in the eyes and basically told him off and scolded him. She scolded Lemongrab, and he backed down. That is incredible. I don't know if that was foreshadowing for her taking care of the Lich. I don't care. Tree Trunks is a badass. Anyone can raise this kid right. And I think it's really important that he's raised right, considering where he came from. Tree Trunks can do it. To be honest, when the Lich was coming back to life, I sort of thought maybe he'd turn back into his pre-war form, because we saw how the Lich was formed in Jake the Dog. You know, a living thing falls into the vat and morphs into the Lich. So I thought we were going to find out something about the identity of the Lich, but no, it was a complete reset. He didn't revert, he just healed over into a giant baby with horns, which is both cute and kind of grotesque. Like, ew. Like, if it was just horns coming out of the side, I think you'd be able to bear with it a little better, but, like, the flesh grew over the horns, so it's like this weird, fleshy thing. Ew. No. Oh, some people online are kind of upset about Tree Trunks wanting to divorce. I sort of saw it coming because the woman has 3 ex-husbands, and she broke up with one of them because he wouldn't stop crying after a tennis match. Tree Trunks seems like the kind of woman who can't keep a husband and isn't particularly interested in keeping a husband. You know, some women are just like that. Maybe it's a Texas thing. I have a few relatives who are like that. They just can't hold a husband. Not because I don't know why. They just can't. Or won't. Or just don't. It's just a weird thing. I thought it was kind of funny that she wanted to divorce that quickly. I mean, it was kind of sad, but you know. What do you expect? She had 3 ex-husbands. And there was really nothing to indicate that Mr. Pig was any more permanent or long-lasting than any of the others. Tree Trunks just gets around. I don't know what to say. But now that they have to take care of the baby, maybe they'll stay together. Maybe that was the thing. None of the others could give her kids because they're separate races. That didn't stop shaking Lady Rainicorn. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent again. I do that a lot. I don't care. So, yes. By the way, I've noticed this thing. What's up with Adventure Time villains and them being dispatched by having their... Villains very rarely die in Adventure Time. I am struggling to think of a time where a villain died. They usually get reset or, like, reverted or incapacitated in some way that makes it so they don't want to do bad anymore. Like, Ice King is presumably going to turn into Simon in the future. Lemongrab got blown to bits and re-sewn, and his mind seems totally blank now. Lich got turned into a baby. It's like someone hits, not reset, but like, they get hit reset on and become somewhat incontinent. in the case of Lemongrab and the Lich. I don't know if that's a way to keep them out of the way until they want to bring them up again, or if that's going to develop into anything. I don't know. Adventure Time seeks to subvert your expectations. So whatever we think or suspect is going to happen is not going to be what happens. We've come to expect the unexpected, paradoxically enough. So there's that. Honestly, this episode was such a jumble and such a rush. I'm having a hard time coming up with words to sum it up as a whole. I think this episode is... I don't even want to say it's bigger in scale than the others, because it didn't even feel bigger in scale. It just felt packed with stuff, was its thing. Like, it opens up with that party, and there's all these different characters there, and I think that sums up the tone of both episodes. It's just a lot of stuff is packed in, and it's good stuff. But it's just so packed it leaves you kind of in a daze afterward, which I think is good. They had that cool down moment for just a little bit before the very end, where Finn's just sitting there with his arm gone, and Shelby crawls out of his pocket and curls up in his lap. Like, that was a good moment. So I think it's good that it wasn't just rush all the way through. There was actually a moment for you to calm down and kind of absorb what happened, even if you didn't get a moment like that earlier. So yeah, this episode was like a whirlwind that just come through and leaving us all dazed and cursing the skies, and Pendleton Ward and the others are laughing at us really hard, I imagine. But anyway, man, was this a great start to the season. Like, wow. I am really looking forward to James 2 next week, and just seeing where the story goes from here. Like, Adventure Time started off as just random little adventures without much connection, and now it's built into this huge epic chronicles of this world, and it's just been so fascinating to watch it unfold, and I am so psyched to see where it goes from here. And I cannot wait till next week till we see James 2. James, the sequel. James, Electric Boogaloo. Looking forward to it. And so if there's anything you'd like me to, if there's anything you'd like to discuss, any comments you'd like to make, comment box is down there. Just feel free to put in your input, because honestly, I'm still having a hard time comprehending what I saw tonight. And probably a lot of you are too, but let's try to straighten this out with each other here. And yeah, comments are totally welcome. And see you next week. It's Giant Keeper 19600 signing off. It's going to be good, guys. I can feel it.